So you found it, the perfect house on Long Island. The street is charming, the schools are top notch, the photos are gorgeous, and the price is actually in your budget. Well, I'm about to tell you something you need to hear. That listed price is a lie. Okay, maybe it's not a lie, but it's definitely not the whole story. That affordable house that you're eyeing online could have a hidden recurring tax bill that jacks up your monthly payment by two, three, or even $4,000. It's the number one reason home buyers on Long Island get a nasty surprise right before closing, and it's why so many people feel completely priced out. The sticker price is not the real price. In this video, I'm going to demystify the confusing world of Long Island property taxes step by step. I'll show you how exactly your total tax bill gets calculated so you can walk into your home search with confidence and know the true cost of ownership before you fall in love with a home that you can't actually afford. So first, let's talk about credibility and the two tax buckets. As a real estate agent here on Long Island, the biggest headache for buyers, especially those moving from out of state, is the tax situation. It can feel totally overwhelming, and those online calculators are often misleading or just plain wrong. Now, quick but important disclaimer, I am not a tax pro or an attorney, so this is not financial or legal advice. This is your educational cheat sheet to help you navigate the search. Always, and I mean always, consult with a qualified professional for your specific situation. All right, now the first thing I want to get into is that when we talk about real estate taxes, we're dealing with two completely separate buckets of money. Bucket number one is the one-time closing costs. So think of this as the cover charge you pay to get into the club of home ownership. These are taxes and fees due on the day that you get the keys. Bucket number two is the annual property tax bill. This is the big one. This is the recurring cost that shows up every single year for as long as you own the home. Most people get fixated on the second bucket, but the first one can pack a serious punch. So let's start there. Let's talk about the entry fee. Okay, the one-time taxes at closing cost when you buy a home on Long Island. Your closing costs are a grab bag of fees for your attorney, lender, title insurance, and so on. But hiding in that pile are several government taxes that are tied directly to the purchase price. First, you'll see a mortgage recording tax. This is a state and county tax on your loan amount that nearly every buyer who gets a mortgage has to budget for this cost, though some specific loan types or credit unions might have exemptions. Next is the one that catches so many people, and that is the New York State mansion tax. Don't let the name fool you. This has nothing to do with actual mansions. Throughout New York State, any purchase of a 1 to 3 family house, condo, or co-op for $1 million or more gets hit with this tax. It's a 1% tax on the entire purchase price paid by you, the buyer, at closing. Let that sink in. A home for $999,000 has zero mansion tax. A home for $1 million means you owe a cool $10,000 at the closing table. With so many Long Island homes crossing that $1 million mark, this isn't a luxury tax anymore. It's a standard closing cost. And be aware, for a price your home's over $2 million, the rate climbs even higher. Finally, if you're buying on the East End in towns like Southampton, East Hampton, or Southold, you might also face the Peconic Bay Region Community Preservation Fund Tax, or the CPF. This is an additional 2% to 2.5% transfer tax used for open space and community projects. The exact rate and exemptions vary by town, but on a $1.2 million home in the Hamptons, this could be an extra 24 grand or more that you'll owe at closing. So that's your first bucket. Significant one-time taxes you have to plan for before you even move in. So the main event is going to be your annual property tax bill. Okay, so for the main event, the yearly tax bill that makes up a massive chunk of your monthly housing payment is going to be, if you remember one thing from this video, all right, let it be this. On Long Island, two identical looking homes with the exact same sale price can have wildly different tax bills. We're talking a difference of thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars per year. Why? Because it all comes down to two ideas: market value and assessed value. Market value is easy. That's what you paid for the house. It's the number on the contract, let's say $800,000. Assessed value is a whole different beast. This is the value your local town or county assessor gives your property specifically for tax purposes. It is almost never the same as market value. On Long Island, the assessed value is a small fraction of what the home is actually worth. So, for example, in parts of Suffolk County, assessments can be less than 1% of the market value. So, think of it this way: market value is the real price, but assessed value is the taxable price. That's the number that they plug into the formula. So now let's talk about the four layers of your tax bill. So how do we get from a tiny assessed value to some of the highest tax bills in the nation? Your total bill isn't just one tax. It's a stack of several different taxes piled on top of each other. The basic formula is your home's assessed value multiplied by the local tax rates. But that local tax rate isn't really a combo of rates from different places. So let's peel back the layers. Okay, layer number one is going to be the school taxes. This is the big one. This layer is by far the largest part of your bill, often 60 to 70% of the total. Long Island is famous for its great public schools, and this is how they're funded. When you buy into a town with highly rated schools, you're also buying into the tax bill that supports them. The next layer is going to be county and town taxes. This layer pays for general services like county police, roadwork, parks, etc. Nassau County has a county-wide tax, while Suffolk County, the 10 different towns handle their own assessments and general taxes. Layer number three is going to be village taxes. This is a huge one that buyers often miss. If your house is inside the boundaries of an incorporated village, you will pay an extra layer of property taxes. This village tax covers hyper-local services like dedicated village police force, sanitation, or code enforcement. It explains why two houses right across the street from one another, one in the other village and one out, can have dramatically different tax bills. Next is going to be special district taxes. So this is the smallest layer, which covers things like the local library, the fire department, or water services. They're smaller amounts, but they all add to the final stack. So your total bill is the sum of all of these: the school, the county town, the village, the special districts, and that's exactly why location is everything. Okay, so I know that was just a ton of info. If your head is spinning, you're going a little crazy, you're definitely not alone. This stuff is very complicated. If you're finding this useful, do me a quick favor and hit that like button down below. It tells me that I should keep making content just like this, and it really helps the channel. So next, let's talk about the formula in action. Let's do the math. Let's make this real. Imagine you're buying a house in Nassau County for, let's say, 800 grand. First, forget the 800 grand market price for a second. The county assessor sets the assessed value. Nassau has its own system, but let's just say for our example, the assessed value is $8,000. Now we look up the tax rates for that specific address. You can usually find these on the school district, county, and town websites. They're often shown as a dollar amount per $100 of assessed value. Let's say the rates are for a school tax rate, $200 per $100 of assessed value. General tax rate, $65 per $100 of assessed value. All right, let's plug in those numbers. Our assessed value is $8,000. We divide that by 100 to see how many hundreds of value we have, which gives us 80. So the school tax calculation, 80 times 200 will be $16,000. General tax calculation, 80 times 65 is 5,200. Now add the layers together. 16,000 plus 5,200 equals 21,000 roughly. And here's a number that matters really for your budget. Divide that by 12. Your monthly property tax payment would be about $1,800 of your mortgage payment. That's a number the big websites often get wrong, and it's the one that unprepared buyers have a heart attack. So how do you protect yourself before you buy? How do you avoid this nasty surprise? Here's your plan. Okay? First, never ever trust the tax amount that you see on a Zillow or Redfin listing. It's not that they are trying to be wrong, but they often show the seller's current tax bill, which probably includes exemptions that you won't get. The most common one is the STAR program, school tax relief. For new homeowners, this is a rebate that you get from the state as a check or direct deposit after you register and pay your taxes. It's not an automatic reduction on your bill like it might have been for the seller. The seller might also have other exemptions like seniors or veterans that will disappear once the house is sold. Second, always look at the official tax records. Your real estate agent should pull a full tax report for you. This shows the full taxes without exemptions, giving you a much more realistic baseline for your budget. Third is to have your agent and your mortgage broker run the numbers for you. Give them the address and sale price and ask for an estimated PITI, that's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. That is the one monthly payment number that truly matters. So, can you lower your taxes? The grievance process, one final question I always get is, can you lower these taxes? The main way to fight back after you own the home is